Hello, beautiful people. It's that 70s baby, your girl Primrose here on Primrose and the podcast with my co-host, straight out of 96, the lovely Miss Michelle Gracie. Michelle, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Primrose?
I am well. I am actually in reset mode, which brings me to our guest. Look, before we introduce her, let's just give a big old fat round of applause for being here. Yes, Miss Ty Murphy and Keena Huffman, founders of Reset Wellness by Design. We have Miss Ty Murphy, who's an integrative health coach, yoga coach, and wellness coach, MBA, RYT 200. And I'm going to ask her to elaborate on what those initials mean a little bit. And then we have Miss Keena Huffman, who's a life coach and licensed marriage and family therapist. Can you say hi to our audience, ladies, one by one? Ty, starting with you.
Hello, this is Ty Murphy.
And hello, this is Keena Huffman.
All right. We are so excited to have you. And I can remember when we were communicating via email, Ty, that I saw that like all these letters and I'm like, well, what does that mean? And I didn't ask you what the MBA, the RYT 200 meant, but I did ask what the I don't know why that LMFT caught my eye. I was like, well, what is that? So Ty, if you could, because again, this is a safe space to know and not know. Why would I know what an MBA is? I ain't got that, or I ain't that, whatever that is. So Miss Ty, if you could explain what an MBA RYT 200 is. What's that like?
Registered a registered yoga teacher.
Okay.
Oh,
Awesome. And I didn't
At the 200, it's at the 200-hour level. So it's like free yoga teacher. Yeah.
Got you. We're gonna need you for that because we need we need all of that. And Miss Keena, I said, I didn't do the LMFT because I don't know, for whatever reason that just stuck out into my head, but that would be abbreviated as the licensed marriage and family therapist as LMFT. Super cool, a lot of letters. I'm loving it. That means they got some credentials, y'all. Y'all know what them credentials be serious, okay? And people look for that when they are looking to get help, mental health help, and get well, because everything, even though we are and you guys are here in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month, which is the month of May, and you are like the closeout of our month. And I'm just so excited for you to be here and share what it is you do and your contribution to. And then I know it's just simply not about mental health, but I believe literally everything really boils down to healthy mental health or not healthy mental health, which is why people respond and react to life the way that they do. And so we just have a couple of questions for you guys just to share with our audience. And the first one is for you, Miss Ty. My question to you is, what was your inspiration for founding Reset by Design Wellness? And as noted, you said you are the co-founder. So could you answer that question for me, please?
Yes. So in 2019, I attended a health and wellness retreat during one of my lowest times in life. That retreat was everything that it needed to be, but it wasn't everything that I needed it to be. So that experience inspired me to create a brand that could meet women where they are on their healing journey. I wanted to create a safe and welcoming space that allowed women to elevate their minds, bodies, and spirits through travel and connection with one another, and a space that would also help women heal, grow, and reset. And so, with that idea, the first person I thought about was Keena, because she actually helped me get through that a low point as well during my reset. And so, I reached out to Keena, and that's how Reset by Design Wellness was born.
Oh, wow. Awesome. And if you don't mind sharing, because we all have like different high points and low points. You said something, you said that you went to a retreat at a very low point in your life. And if you don't mind, Do you mind elaborating on what that was, what that low point was that led you to go to that
Um,
retreat?
so I went through a divorce in 2017 after 19 years of marriage.
Oh, wow.
And the ex-husband made it extremely difficult for me to heal after the divorce. So there was a lot of mental, financial, and emotional abuse going on after the divorce. And so it just put me into a very low space.
Space.
And then eventually, like I did therapy and all of those things. And that's when the retreat came up with a friend of mine. She was like, maybe we should do a wellness retreat. And she did the research and everything. And she found a retreat and we went on the retreat.
Wow. And that's just like half the battle right there, just stepping up for yourself. So I'm really proud of you for doing that. I'm really happy that you did that because now, what you went through, will be a seg. It's like it will help other women go through those things
Yes.
so that they can get through it. Because I know for me, it's some stuff that I just didn't think I was going to get through it. Didn't know I had the strength to get through it. Didn't even want to get through it. I was just beating up, tearing myself down on the inside and just felt terrible. So I'm so thankful that you had support in that moment, even when somebody was ripping at you, clawing at you, wanting to make things different out of bitterness and stuff. Because see, don't get it twisted, y'all. Men can be bitter too. We
Hmm.
all on a mission to end the bitter bitch movement, you know. But men can be bitter too, and if especially when they lose that control over, what they thought they had, and what they created, and it's an insult to them when you decide, hey, look, this don't work, and you got to get yourself well. So I commend you for doing that, and that alone makes you qualified, in my opinion. I told you that's all I got is my opinions. I ain't got no whole lot of letters behind my name. My PhD came from being out here in these streets and basic life, life experiences. But I commend you. I thank you, and I am so glad that from then to now, I can look at a young woman who is on a magnificent journey and took those steps. And that's the really important part, is for people to just take steps in order to get themselves to a place of health and healing. You used your power, and you
Yeah.
practice to change your life and put yourself in a better situation. Uh,
Yes.
and I'm just so interested in it, and I don't want to like go in, but I can ask a million and one questions. But
I
um,
have a question.
yeah, I was going to say, Michelle, did you have any questions?
Yeah, you had mentioned something was missing in that wellness. Was it the traveling part that was missing, which is why you incorporated with what you do now with your wellness coaching? Was it the
No, no, it wasn't that because the retreat was in Bali. So the
okay?
travel aspect was there. It was more so the mental health aspect of the retreats, like really catering workshops to what I needed. Like I said, it was an awesome retreat. If I went on that retreat today, I would get way more from it than I did before
Mhm.
because mentally I just wasn't at that point. Like that wasn't the right retreat for me
Okay.
in that moment. So nothing from that company, also minority owned. It was great. It just
Mhm.
didn't fit what I needed at the time, which was the inspiration behind building Reset.
Yeah, okay, got you. So they can have you guys can target different things that people may need during
Yeah.
that time. Okay, yep, okay, now I get it. Okay.
Michelle, I'm so glad you asked that question, and because
Yeah.
in her answer, it helped me. Because remember, I had did a whole lot of self-help books and going to different seminars, and it was just something missing. And not that that wasn't good, it just wasn't for me, for where I was at. And when I
Mm-hmm.
finally came across this book, I tell you the story all the time. I'll go in the bookstore, and I didn't even go to the bookstore. I went to Target, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to find me some James Baldwin. I want to be deep. And I wound up finding a book that literally changed my life in the way I thought and helped me to propel me forward in my healing journey. So I totally get that, Ty. It wasn't that it wasn't adequate, because it wasn't that those books that I read wasn't adequate. It wasn't that those seminars that I went to had attended weren't adequate. They just weren't for where I was. And I found something, thankfully, by accident that met me exactly where I was. So I'm glad you asked that question, Michelle.
Yeah, it's almost like that you guys, Reset by Design it's more personal. It targets, the person that's coming for healing and wellness. It's like it's set up for just for them. It's not just broad or general. It's personal. And that's I
Yes.
like that. I like that a lot.
And so yeah, that was a really good question, Michelle. And it just makes sense. And that's a note to women. Like, if you go to an event don't quit because you don't feel like you didn't get what you need, and don't dismiss the mental health journey, because that might not be where you need to be. And so keep seeking. And so that's why I'm so glad you answered that question and asked that question, Michelle, because women need to know that. Don't quit there. Because see, you could have been like, you know what, I didn't get much out of that, and just left it there and didn't pursue anything further. And then you wouldn't be where you are at today. But thankfully, you had the good sense to know, you know what, this was everything, just not everything that I needed at that time. So
Exactly.
kudos for you to continue to pursue your health, your mental health and wellness. So glad you did that. Miss Kina in the background. Who you got, Miss Kina?
I'm here.
Look, it's so funny because I can only see you when you're talking. So it's like you're not in the background. Look, y'all, our technology, we ain't got it all, we ain't got that great technology, but she up in here. She's sitting in the back. She ain't sitting in the background. She's sitting here with us. And now I can see you because you talk. And I'm a FaceTimer, right? So if I can't, hey, I can't see you. Where are you? Even though you're there, the lovely Miss Kina Huffman, who contributes so much to Reset by Design Wellness with her co-founder, Ms. Ty Murphy. A question I have for you is, what impact do you believe Reset by Design Wellness or a reset will have on the mental health of women as a whole? The whole idea of reset.
Well, first, our retreats are designed to be transformative by providing women with the tools and skills to have a successful reset. So, we don't want anyone to just reset. We want them to have a successful reset. And to accomplish that, we are providing a safe and welcoming space for Black women to elevate their minds, bodies, and spirits through travel and connecting with one another, to support. Also we have workshops that are curated to meet the needs of the clients attending the retreat. Therefore, each retreat will have its own unique outcome, because all clients are different. That nobody's the same. Like Michelle said, everybody reset looks different.
Yeah.
And we are, creating a space where we're not anticipating everybody to come with the same presenting issues mentally. We're creating a space for them to come where, they may both be at a low point in their life. As Ty said before, her reset was a big reset. Somebody might not have a big reset. It may just mean I need to have a small reset, but it doesn't mean that your reset is not needed.
Right.
So with our retreats that we have, we're going to invite women to come, and you're designing your reset no matter how it looks. We're not expecting your reset to be, I'm gonna do a total overhaul of my whole entire life.
Right.
I might just need to reset how I'm, how my relationship is with my spouse. I may just need to reset and improve the relationship with my children. I may just need to reset how I'm, pursuing my career. Our retreats are designed to help you do that reset, but make sure it's a successful reset.
Got you. That's awesome.
I have I noticed that I've been doing resets weekly. Like I say reset Monday, because I've been traveling on the weekends and I have to get myself together. And lately, I have a question, because lately some people, when they're resetting and taking the time for themselves, they might commit to something and may just can't make it because they want to reset. And then that person that's resetting receive backlash from people around them because they're taking the time to reset. How do you handle that when people get upset that you're resetting?
Well, personally, I'm gonna give you the personal aspect, then I give you the professional.
Yes.
Personally, it's your reset.
Yeah.
You know, if someone has a problem with you bettering yourself and improving yourself, you have to ask yourself, why do they hold a position in my life?
Yeah.
If I'm saying I need to take a step back, if I'm saying that I need to take time for me, then why does somebody else have an issue with that? Because you need to be healthy. You are important.
Yes. Yeah.
And if I can't perform my duties because I'm feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, irritated, I'm feeling sad, I feel like I'm hopeless. If I'm at that point in my life and I'm telling you I need a reset and you're looking at me like I'm inconveniencing you, then why are you important to me? Because obviously I'm not important to you.
There it is.
That's good information right there. And and it's true. It's facts. It's like when and Michelle, you know, like, because we record on Mondays, and if she shoots me a text early in the day and say, hey, look, can we do tomorrow? I don't question it. Yup. Because I believe that, you know, your journey is, I just from doing book signings, you're communicating with a lot of different energies.
Yep.
And people are coming at you and you're having to pour out and be gracious and be respectful and be kind and be professional and be informative. And, you know, you got to smile 15,000 times in a row and all that kind of stuff. So if people can't understand that even if you weren't doing that, let's just say you decided I need to reset simply because I had a strong, long day. And today, this day after, I'm going to take this time for me, and somebody gives you backlash. I completely agree with Kina. You need to evaluate. Okay, well, wait a minute. Do they belong here? You know, because they can't respect that you put your mental health first. And a lot of times when people calling on you, it's for party and it's for, you know, their stuff or whatever. It's not even for anything that's fruitful and beneficial to you or them. But they have that access. So it's like, well, wait a minute. You can't deny me access. Aren't we friends? Of course we can, because there's such a thing as boundaries. And if you need that and somebody gives you backlash, then again, I'm in agreement with Tina. You need to question, okay, why are they around again? You know, and people remember we was having that conversation. I said people overestimate your love for them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the high expectations, or it's they get so used to, you know, you being there, you showing up and you saying yes, and the moment, you know, you say no, oh, it's personal, or, you know, they get offended, or, you know, and it's just, and then it's just like, well, does me show, what about all the other times I did show up? Does that count for anything? You know, so how do you even handle the guilt? Ty, have you ever been, you know, like with your, like when you reset, like, have you ever experienced like the guilt? Like, have any of you have experienced feeling guilty of resetting? Because, you know, your reset looks like, you know, staying to yourself, or not, you know, not making it to things, or not hanging out. Like, how do you handle the guilt, or do you even, have you ever felt guilty?
Oh, absolutely. The first time I reset, you know, I had to take a step back and kind of isolate myself a little bit, get my thoughts together, refocus my life. And I have adult children. They're adults, but they're my children, and they're used to me being there with them and being there for them no matter what. And so my first reset, I had to step back and isolate and not be there and be present like they used to me being there in the way that they're used to me being there. And so I felt guilty because it's not that I didn't want to, it's just I was at a mental place where I needed to take care of me. I had to take care of me.
Yeah.
You know, and so I initially felt guilty, but after a couple of more resets, I don't, because at a certain point, you know, I always use the analogy with my clients, you know, if you're a flyer, like, you know, Ty is, when you're on an airplane and they're giving you those safety tips, the first thing they tell you to do is put your mask on first before you help anyone else help the air pressure change. They do that because what they're saying to you, if you don't have it in you to help somebody else because you ain't helped yourself first, then that person still is not going to thrive. I can't help you if I hadn't helped me. You know, I have to breathe to be able to help you breathe.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If I can't, you can't. So, you know, after a while, I started asking myself, you know, why do I feel guilty that I need the help? And that's a thing amongst women anyway. We are used to being everybody's everything. And, you know, we're everybody's everything, but you have to ask yourself, but who's my something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
So after that, you know, if I had to be everybody's everything in my own something, which sometimes we do, then yes, I have to reset. I have to change that dynamic, and I have to be, you know, as healthy as I can be mentally as well as physically. You know, I let women know all the time that when you reset, it feels unnatural because we're not used to it all the time, but you have to look at the benefits.
Yes.
Temporary guilt for a long period of time of mental health, it's just is no weight to it. Like, you know, yeah, I might feel guilty for right now. You might not like me today, but when I come back stronger and in a better position, you'll love me again.
So I want to piggyback off of what Keena said, because I have two parts to this. The first part is just being on the side of just feeling extremely guilty when I started to go through my reset when it came to my children, because two of my girls were adults and the other one was still in the house with me. But I knew that if I did not put myself first, that I couldn't be any good to them, because I was in a deep depression. Like it was deep. And I was not the best version of mom that I could be, because I wasn't focusing on myself. You know, I was making decisions that I thought would be good for them, that pertained to their father. And ultimately, it wasn't good for any of us. And what I found was, when I made the decision to say, you know what, I'm going to put myself above all others, they saw that. And then I started to tell them, like, I'm not going to be in situations, you know, that disturb my peace. And so I made my peace number one. And because of that, you know, they were influenced by that. And even now they'll say, like, anything, if it affects my peace, I don't want to deal with it. I need to step aside. So that was encouraging to them and inspirational to them as well. And then on the flip side, because I was in such a dark place, I was literally draining the energy from the people close to me, you know, and I hated that. Like that right there, you know, made me feel really bad. And I'm thankful that the women that were in my life, one being Sakina and another friend of mine, I'm so glad that they were able to stand there with me. But I think they were able to do that because they knew me outside of that place that I was in. They knew me outside of that deep depression. And I think, and just based on the conversations I had with them, it was like Ty is going through this, like, this is not okay. Not Ty, not her. Like she's like one of the strongest friends.
Right.
And the thing is, I mean, like I said, I felt so guilty, and I'm thankful that they did stand by me. I did lose some friendships during that time. And I understand why, because I literally was kind of unhinged, to be honest. It was bad. But I'm thankful, like I said, that, you know, those people stayed in my life. And now, you know, I have so much to offer, like I did before that. I have so much to offer, and I'm a much better person, you know, new and improved. Those experiences changed me for the better, which is why I know that I can now help other women when they go through that or anything similar. It doesn't have to be as serious or severe as what I went through, but anything that a woman, you know, goes through, Reset by Design Wellness, you know, is here to help them.
And you know, Ty, I believe that, you know, even before all this happened, you had all this to offer. It just took you to go through what you went through to want to offer it. And it's like your strength was always there. And we got it right. Like I heard you say, you know, you came unhinged. You know, especially being a mother. Now, Michelle is the only one in this conversation who has not had the experience of, you know, having to raise children and stuff like that. And myself, I do have two adult children. And like I said, my daughter's going through some things right now. Her cat is here. And like I told you, I had to reset. Like the cat literally got locked in the basement the other day, shit on the floor. And it brought up some emotions in me this morning because I'm like, I am dancing around a cat. It's not even my cat. When I leave out of this room, I have to shut the door because I don't want her to scratch up the leather furniture that's in my Raven's room. She wound up getting locked in the basement the other day because my mom gave me a kitchen set, and it has leather chairs, and I have to hide it while the cat's here. So I took the chairs down in the basement, and that's how the cat wound up getting locked in the basement.
She still got a hold of the chairs. Oh,
well, and I checked them out, but she shit in the floor. And I'm like,
okay.
I am literally dancing around a cat, a freaking cat. And it caused me to become very upset. Why? Because I know my daughter doesn't want to get rid of the cat. But I have to do what's best for me. And that the cat has got to go. And I don't like to disappoint my children. You know, being a mom, having gone through the type of mother that I was. You mentioned guilt earlier. It took me years to realize I really didn't have anything to feel guilty for. However, I still am very sensitive when it comes to my children. So I didn't want to disappoint my daughter, but I am trying to regain my peace. That's where I am at right now. So I had to take this really long shower this morning and just talk to myself about this. Like, you know what? You deserve your peace. And Michelle, you know some of the things I'm going through on a personal level, and you deserve your peace. And if you don't have it, you're malfunctioning.
You deserve everything you give to others. You deserve it for yourself.
And above that, even what I don't give to others, I deserve to be in my own home and be at peace. In my own home. If I can't get it nowhere else, because see, it's got to be in here when I'm everywhere else. But in here, it should be wall to wall peace of mind for me, solidarity, you know. And I was like, the cat, and I texted her, the cat's got to go. And I told her why, and she didn't even respond. And did it hurt my feelings a little? Yes. But you know what? When that cat is gone and I don't have to keep shutting doors and all that kind of stuff, it just gives me a deeper sense of peace because I'm not worrying about the cat in here. I've had my kitchen blinds up halfway for about 6-7 months now because of the cat. Because if I put them all the way down, she's going to scratch and tear at them. And they were very expensive. And apart from being expensive, they're mine. And I don't want them tore up by this freaking cat who scratches up everything. You know, you deserve peace. Again, it has to be developed on a personal level so that when you go outside, you can be at peace with yourself and you get to respond in a way that doesn't hinder your peace. But when you are behind the doors, where you pay the bills, you deserve peace. And anything that conflicts with that, you got a right to discard it. You got a right to get rid of it.
Yeah.
You know?
And like you said, you know, the deserving part, that's what you have to identify. You know, it's amazing that we can say what we deserve. We deserve peace. We deserve to be treated, you know, well. We deserve to be respected. We have all these deserving contributes that we know and we understand. But you say, I deserve peace, but then you went down a whole list of trying to prove to why you deserve your peace. And you shouldn't have to, don't have to prove it. It's my peace. If I say I deserve peace, I don't have to tell you why. I don't have to tell you the kind of mother I was, the kind of mother I'm trying to be. I don't have to tell you why this is my house and I pay the bills and I don't want your cat there. I only have to tell you that this is my peace and this is disturbing my peace, so the cat has to go.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have to give an explanation. Why? Because I am not asking you to pay for anything. I'm not asking you to do anything for me, but give me my peace. That's free.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as women, we feel obligated
to
explain why we have to say no to our kids, to our friends, to our spouses, to our, you know, we feel obligated. I can't just say no when I'm not, my no does not affect you. If you ask me to do something, you need something from me. If I say no, I don't have to give an explanation, but we feel obligated. Well, I can't do this because X, Y, and Z.
Right.
I can't do this because, oh, you know, and then we get to making excuses, you know. If you're a grandparent, I'm a grandparent. So, you know, I can't watch the grandchild because I have to work. I have to do this. If I say no, it should just be no.
It should just be no.
Yeah.
It should just be. I think a part of my guilt comes from people pleasing and afraid to disappoint. Um, and people pleasing is what I've been struggling with recently. And yesterday, one of my good friends put me on a no giving diet. I can't give for 30 days. I can only receive. And I said, so when I tell them no, can I say that I'm on a no giving? No,
No.
you can't.
No.
You can't give them why explanation. If it doesn't involve you receiving, you can't do it. And that made me very uncomfortable because immediately I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to disappoint so many people. I'm going to let down so many people. I'm not going to be able to be, and I started thinking about them. But in reality, I need this reset.
Yeah.
This is my reset.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's going to be very challenging.
Yeah.
Well, how many times have you been disappointed or let down?
That's what she said.
How about that? And they didn't reset after they disappointed you, honey. They kept moving and disappointing others.
Yeah, that's what she said. I said, I'm so afraid to disappoint. And she was like, ain't nobody afraid to disappoint you.
Right.
That's what she said. She said, so you're going to disappoint people. It's life.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're empty, if you're pouring from an empty cup, what good is that for you? Now you're negative.
Yeah.
Now you're in a negative hole.
Yeah.
You ever try to get your account out of the negative before? How exhausting that is? You're making money and you got to put it back in the bank account. You're not even, I mean, like, it's just, it's exhausting.
It is.
People pleasing is exhausting. And I think I've reached that point of being exhausted.
And I'm glad because now you're going to do something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you're going to do something about it. And as women, especially when we're mothers and we feel like we have to and we gotta go, and that's why I be trying to tell Michelle, because she's like, well, I want 5 children and I want a family. I said, baby, enjoy, because you can be selfish as you want to be right now. But once you have children and a family, you have to be compromising all the time. You have to, and it's not easy. So enjoy the fact that you don't have to come home and listen to my this, my what, because it's like, especially when you're in 2-parent households, a lot of times, and I'm sure that Keenan and Todd can probably attest to this, they're not saying dad this, dad that, dad this, dad that. It's my. I didn't have the luxury of a dad in the home. So it was definitely my. And when you get to a place when you say, you know what, I don't have to do shit for them now. They're adults. So I choose that. And thankfully, I have a daughter, a strong young woman. She's an excellent mother to my grandchildren. She's not the type that mine, can you watch kids? She don't do that. You know what I mean? First of all, because my free time is mine. I get to FaceTime my grandchildren. I'm a FaceTime granny. I ain't one of those ones drop them off over here every 5 seconds. We don't do that. But I'm thankful to have the type of daughter that I don't have to be concerned about, because that's once you have grandchildren, I don't know, Ataya or you or Kina, grandparents.
We do, both of us.
A whole nother concern, ain't it though?
Yeah.
Because you worried about
y'all have grandchildren
now.
Y'all have grandchildren?
How many?
Yes, I have 1 grandson and I have a granddaughter on the way.
All right.
And I have 2 grandsons.
Isn't it the best having 2 grandsons? I thought I was a girl, but I have 2 grandsons too, right? How old are they, Ty?
4 and 8. It's different. It's different because I have all girls.
Girls, yeah.
And then they don't live, they live in North Carolina. So I'm up this way by myself. None of my girls are here in Maryland, but I enjoy the time that that I have with them. Like I'm taking them camping in July. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, it's awesome to be able to spoil them and then send them back home.
Yes,
I took mine to Maine, the
Yes.
summer before last. Took them on their first plane ride. We went out to Maine, had a great time. I couldn't wait to get the hell back to Baltimore. And it's not that I don't love my grandchildren. I do, but I'm not raising it. And I'm thankful that I'm not put in a position where I have to, because they have good parents. And, and once you become a grandmother, it's like a whole nother concern. But Thankfully, I'm not in a position where I'm worried about my grandsons being hurt or anything like that, because they have an awesome mom, and a very present father. So I am thankful for that. But it's like a whole nother beast. That's why I be trying to tell Michelle, girl, you better enjoy this, honey, and have your fun. And you get to reset without just interruption, because it could be time, especially when you have smaller children. They don't understand mommy's resetting. They want to pull it, mommy, 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 at your pull at your shirt, and they want what they want. So you have the luxury of being unattached to commitments like marriage and children. And it is people, I'm telling you, yes, marriage and having children and having a family, all that stuff can be beautiful, but so can being unattached, and being able to be selfish. And, like I said, and I heard Ty say that she had lost some friends, but you know what? At the end of the day, I believe who's supposed to be there now for this stage and phase in your life is who's there. So I wouldn't say it's a loss, and because it's your experience, you get a right to say that. But you are in a space where you are being supported and loved, and have this wealth of knowledge to keep yourself on in a place of good mental health. I had to talk myself through it this morning, because things like that can send me into depression, because I'm doing something that I have to do for my good. But on the flip side of that, my daughter doesn't want to get rid of the cat, but I'm tired of it. It's got to go. I want to put my shades back down. I want to stop, because I don't really like closing doors. So I have to close doors. I don't want it in my closets flying at my clothes. So I'm closing my bedroom door at night and all day and all night. So it's just a bit much. You don't have to, worry about those things. So enjoy and be selfish. And if somebody is giving you kickback because you're telling them no, and don't explain yourself.
Yeah, I have trouble doing that.
Don't do it, because they don't deserve that. Give to yourself first. It's okay.
Yeah.
It is. It's definitely okay to give to yourself first. And we have to start practicing, understanding that we call it being selfish, but really you're taking care of yourself.
Yes.
Self-care is one of the main things that you have to do to maintain mental health. Like if you're going to be mentally healthy, you have to have some type of self-care skills.
Yeah.
And it's disheartening to hear, especially women, when we say, okay, well, I'm taking this time for myself, I'm being selfish. But really, are you being selfish?
Right. You're taking care of self.
You're taking care of self, and there's a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up an only child, so I understand what selfish really look like.
Right, yeah.
But
Me too.
But when I'm being, when I'm taking care of self, that looks totally different.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's doing something for myself. I'm not requiring anybody to do anything for me. I'm doing it for myself.
Gotcha.
But I got to take care of myself. It's like if you get a cold and you got to go to the doctor, you're taking care of yourself. You don't tell your kids, oh, well, mommy's not going to go to the doctor because I got to fix you breakfast. No, I got a doctor's appointment. So you got to fix your breakfast. I'll see you this evening, or whatever the case may be. But we intertwine both of them as mothers, as women, as wives, spouses, and everything else. We tend to say, okay, well, anytime I get time for myself, I'm being selfish.
Yeah. And when you're really, and thank you so much for clarifying that. And that thing I'm going to have to retrain my brain with is self-care is not being selfish. It's just taking care of self. And I'm going to have to keep getting that in the mind, because it's not being selfish to take care of yourself. It's being smart. That's really what it's being. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you will find yourself drained, exhausted, high blood pressure, unhealthy diet, every which way but loose, and you're no good to nobody, because you're not taking care of yourself. So thank you for that, Kenny, because it is not selfish. It is smart to take care of yourself.
Yeah, so I want to add to that. So we have put out some affirmations on our social media. And one of the affirmations was, it's okay to be selfish. You have to be selfish in order to be selfless. So always remember that. And selfish does not have to be negative, like Akina said. It does not have to be.
We had a whole conversation about that. Remember one of our episodes about being selfish, um, and putting yourself first. And I'm just as we talk, I'm just trying to get to the root of when did the guilt start of putting myself first. I think when I was younger, I've always heard, my mom always told me that I was selfish, and but she said it in a negative way, like you only think about yourself. So I think as I got older, that's when that people pleasing came about, because I was trying so hard to not be selfish.
You were trying to prove that you weren't.
Yeah, I was trying to prove that I wasn't selfish. Okay, so I'm just gonna put everybody else first. But it's just, it's really not benefiting me in any way.
Yeah.
I can't, I can't show up in my best self if I'm not feeling my best.
Right.
And putting other people first is not tending to me becoming my best.
Right.
My best self.
Right.
So,
at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, if I'm continuing to put everybody's first, and you know how it gets, you push yourself, you take care of everybody else, you put yourself last, you're not doing anything for yourself. But then when, like Ty said, when you become unhinged, or when you have a mental breaking point, all your friends, your family, everybody, well, I don't know why you did that. You could have took time for yourself. You should have did this. So now people are still putting the blame back on you.
Yeah. And a lot of times they're the contributors to why, because they're demanding. They're demanding. And so they're contributing to you becoming unhinged, because if they care about you, they're going to pay it. Hey, look, you know what? As a matter of fact, I'm not going to ask Ty to do nothing today, for a couple of weeks. I know Ty's going through a tough time over there, but people will still impose. Well, I know you're going through something, girl, but you know what I need?
Yeah. Yeah.
If they cared, they wouldn't even, hey, girl, I know you're going through something. So how about, let me treat you to a spa day.
Oh my gosh. Being considerate. Just being thoughtful, being considerate and being thoughtful. It gets me, I get upset a little bit with them, but more so with myself when I'm like overexerting myself or showing up and I'm tired, and then they still complain about something that I did possibly wrong. I'm just like, I could have stayed home. But then it's just like, I'm not really mad at them. I'm really mad at me, because you should have stayed home.
And you chose not to.
And you chose not to.
Yeah.
And that's what
Look what happens when you don't put yourself first.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You're disappointed in them, and now you're disappointed. That's double the disappointment at this point.
Yes.
You could have saved yourself all that disappointment just by
Yep.
drinking your glass of wine and your popcorn and sitting in front of the television. know. And I think we've answered this question, but I just want to be very intentional about these next couple of questions I have. And I know, I'm pretty sure we've answered, because we've talked about some things that have caused a need for a reset. But Ty and Keena, just address what causes the need for reset specifically, and when you believe you need a reset, what do you do to reset? What does a reset look like?
So, I mean, life changes in general can cause a need to reset.
Okay.
Just in general.
Right.
And Keena, you can piggyback off of that.
Yeah, well, I guess life changes can cause a reset. And then when you just realize when you're not enjoying your life anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
The lack of enjoyment is a clear sign that you need to reset. And how does a reset look? It looks different for everyone. Nobody has a design that's going to be the same as yours.
Right.
So
you specifically, when you say I need a reset, what is it that you do to reset?
For me, my reset, it depends on, I've had several, but it depends on what I'm resetting in my life. I always start with taking a look in the mirror and seeing where I went wrong. Like, sometimes we say we need a reset because everybody else is so demanding. Everybody else is doing all this and doing all this to me. But I look at myself and ask myself, how am I presenting myself to everybody else? If I'm just like Michelle said, if I'm going to be, a people pleaser and everybody's putting these demands and I'm not telling them to back off,
Right.
I just keep taking it,
Right.
then that's on me.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
how does that reset look? It's on me. So what am I going to do to change the narrative to get my reset? Of course, I usually take a trip. I will go see Ty. I'll go see other friends. We'll go out the country. I'll take a breather away from life for a second to get my mind right. But to continue that reset,
Right.
what am I going to put in place?
Right.
I'm going to start, telling people where my limits are. If
Right.
I can't do something, I can't do it. It's not that I don't want to do it. There's a difference with that too. I can't. If I'm not mentally capable of helping you, then I'm not mentally capable. It's nobody's fault, but I'm not there and I can't help.
Right.
So when I'm looking at my personal resets, I'm looking at where did I go wrong? What did I do, or what could I've done to be better?
Right.
And then I ask myself, how does my reset look? How does my design look?
Right. Right.
And sometimes, like Ty said earlier, sometimes my reset does not include certain friends or
Right.
certain family members. We
Right.
believe because you blood, you have access to me and I'm supposed to just be there and take it. And no,
Right.
if you're disturbing my peace, whether you are friend, family, or just colleague or whomever, if you're disturbing my peace, I don't have to have you in my life.
Absolutely. I completely and totally agree with that. And like for me, I'm a huge believer in can't, can, will, won't. There's certain things I can do. I'm just not going to, simply because I don't want to. And people will try to have you want to do what they want you to do. If I don't want to do it, whether I can or can't, if I don't want to do it, I got a right to say no. I'm not obligated to do anything that I don't want to do. And I heard you say travel. Like I'm in a position right now where traveling was giving me life, where I was going out of the country a couple of times a year. I was having a great time. I was single. I got in a relationship, ain't been out of the country but once in 3 years, and so things are looking a lot different for me right now. So my opportunities to do the things that really give me life are limited by my financial situation. So for women who may not be able to hop on a plane or may not have a car to hop or do a road trip or something like that, are there any reset options that you can give them? And I could think of a few myself, but from a professional perspective, Ty and Keena, for those who do not have the privilege or the luxury of hopping on a plane, hopping in a car, or to do resets or whatever, can you offer some suggestions for all they have is just a little space and a little time? Can you offer some resets?
So I'm glad you asked that question, because when we talk about our company and the impact that Reset has on mental health, there is a travel aspect to it, right? So travel in general has a positive impact on wellness. Travel not only allows women to escape the pressures of their everyday lives, but it also offers a chance for stress relief and relaxation.
And Ty's having, I know there was some
overall well-being
issues. You cut out for a second, Ty. Could you repeat?
I was saying that traveling not only allows women to escape, the pressures of everyday life, but it also offers chances for stress relief and relaxation. Being in a new environment away from familiar stressors can help lower cortisol levels and boost overall well-being. Additionally, trying new activities or simply lounging on a beach or providing a sense of calm and rejuvenation, that can do everything. We do offer coaching if people are not able to travel, so we do offer our coaching services. Right now, all of our retreats planned are international retreats. But I do want people to think about this. We have to prioritize our well-being. In that, make it a priority to go on a retreat, because we will go out, we'll spend hundreds of dollars on dinners, we'll spend hundreds of dollars on clothes, on other people, on all of those other things, but we tend to neglect ourselves in that case. So if you make it a priority, you can make it happen. You set up a travel fund, save for that. We do have other options, like when you pay for our retreat, you don't have to pay for it all at once. There is a discount if you are able to do that, but you don't have to. So there are ways to pay for a wellness retreat. The best thing to do is to just reach directly out to us, and we can, talk about whatever your situation is and go from there. And if we can, help with that, we will.
Right. And that's awesome. And I think a lot about women who are not in a position to, they really don't have any ends to do anything outside of maybe going into their bedroom, closing the door, and just taking some good deep breaths in or something like that to reset, and understand that don't diminish your need to reset. Because
Right.
a lot of times we'd be like, well, that's nothing, because certain things become our norm. So we're used to giving. The kids tugging out our waist, the husband saying, I want this, or the boss saying that. So we get used to all these things, and we diminish the fact that these things impact our mental well-being, and we need to reset. For that woman who, does not have the financial means and stuff like that, because like myself right now, I am getting ready to go back to handling everything by myself with no financial, outside financial help. So my cushion is now going to leave, and that's only going to be temporary. So it's not like I'm speaking from a broke perspective or anything like that, but I do understand that you said it's a key thing, because see, we'll go out to the bars, we'll go to the movies, we'll go buy that new dress, but we won't set aside, hey, you know what, instead of me buying this blouse, let me put this into that retreat fund. Now if you are totally maxed to the nine, like with even you're not going out, because I know some people in that situation too. Michelle, you experienced it for like a year. You couldn't buy anything because you had to pay down your debt, which was very smart. So for the person who just doesn't have the means, my suggestion for that person to understand that, yes, you probably need a reset, which is why you're not in your best, which is why you're not as happy, which is why you're experiencing sadness. Go on even YouTube. Jangetta told us about how she got started into Reiki healing and sound therapy and stuff, where they have sounds that calm the mind and bring about peace within the mind, so that you can think clearly and stuff like that. I believe that reset, that's why I'm so excited about you guys being here and sharing with us, is it's imperative to the mental health of women that we reset, if even on a minute to minute, daily, monthly. Michelle, you said weekly, you do your reset. Even if you feel like you don't really have a reason to reset, you're going to intentionally reset every Monday and get those things. You know what I'm saying? So that's so important. And for the women who all they have, like I said, is a little time and space, you too.
Well, I go sit by the water.
And we do have a guide. We do have a guide. So when you log onto our website, if you sign up for our newsletter, you will receive a guide from us. That can actually help you on when you're starting your healing journey and finding your peace, and that is free.
Awesome. And that's what I want
free guide,
because some people, the only thing they can afford is something for free. And we got to get women, because I'm a firm believer also that when the women get in order and we get ourselves together, like everything else is going to get itself together. And I want to do better. And it's a lot of women who like that, who are doing better, who want to do better, but there are some women who just don't know how. So as we wrap up today's last session for Mental Health Awareness Month with the founders of Reset Wellness by Design, the lovely Miss Ty Murphy and the lovely Miss Kina Huffman, please share with our audience, where they can find you individually, you know, as and collectively.
So we're all our socials are at Reset by Design Wellness. We are on Facebook, we are on TikTok. We have a YouTube, we're building that. And what did I and Instagram.
Okay.
You can find me at Philly Bayesian 3, Philly like Philadelphia, Bayesian, Bajan 3. That's on Instagram. And for TikTok, I'm on at that John Murph, JAWN and Murph. And go ahead, Sakina, with your socials.
My socials on Facebook, I'm Kina Denise on Facebook, and I'm not on anything else. So you can also just Google Sakina Huffman, and you know, anytime if you're in Georgia and you need a therapist, then definitely I can be of help to you. If you're here in Georgia, if you need a life coach, if you go on our Reset by Design website and you just want life coaching, then we have that service there also.
And
Awesome.
how can they find the sign up for the free guide? What's the website and what's the directions for that?
Yeah, maybe experiencing. Yeah, Ty signal is going out.
Yeah. Did you, I missed Michelle's question. Did you ask about the website or?
Yes. What's the website for? How can someone get access to you mentioned newsletter? How can they sign up for the newsletter to get access to the free guide and to just to get access to what you guys are doing now and in the future?
Yeah. So it's the website is resetbydesignwellness.com. The pop-up will come up when they log on, when they go into the website. They provide their information and accept it, and then what, they'll get an automated email with the free guide that I was talking about.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I've certainly enjoyed this conversation with you ladies.
Yes.
And I am firm in believing that our audience will as well. I certainly got something out of it. And it was so appropriate. It is so appropriate for this time and where I am, attempting to go, where I'm going personally on a personal level to maximize my mental health because I am, I do believe that mental health is so important to my wealth, my just everything. It's the foundation for a well-lived life, and I plan to live a well-lived life, because up until now maybe I haven't, but from this point forward I will. It's my determination. So once again, and you know what, you guys have something really exciting coming up. And I know we said we're gonna keep it to it, but you guys have something really exciting coming up. Kina, you wanna mention that?
Yes, we have a retreat coming up that we're going to Ghana from November 1st through 9th. We're going to experience not only the culture in Africa, but also giving women a chance to, reconnect with our roots and just reconnect with each other.
Awesome.
We are the way we are because our ancestors were the way they were.
Awesome. And they can get that information at resetbydesignwellness.com, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So ladies, y'all heard it from the lovely Miss Ty Murphy and the lovely Miss Kina Hoffman. We thank you for having this conversation with you. And before we go, Miss Michelle Gracie, you want to let the people know where they can find ya?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at _Michelle Gracie. That's MICHELLEGRACIE. And you can find me on Facebook, Michelle Richardson. That's RICHARDSON.
And you can find us on Insta at Primrose Ave Pod, PRIMROZEAVEPOD, and here on YouTube where you're listening to us at Primrose Avenue. And for me, everything leads to Primrose Avenue, and it's abbreviated. So on all socials, I am Primrose Ave. That's PRIMROZE AVE, and on Insta it is Primrose with an underscore AVE, PRIMROZE_AVE. Thank you so much for listening. We know that you'll be blessed by this conversation. Look out for my girls, Miss Ty and Miss Keena at resetwellnessbydesign.com. Go sign up for that retreat. Get some of those free the guides to help you on your mental health journey. It is so important to take care of you. Let's stop thinking of it as being selfish, but thinking of it as taking care of self. And with that note, we are out of here. Y'all have a wonderful day, and thank you for listening.